Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the all-new 2024 Lexus IS300 F Sport. Huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing the sedan for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This 300 F Sport is finished off in ultra white and its MSRP is just over $47,000. Now underneath the hood, this is powered by the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 241 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. This specific model is rear-wheel drive. It weighs in right around 3,700 pounds. 0 to 60 is just shy of 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 143 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.4 gallons. You'll expect to see around 21 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 110.2 inches. Its overall length is 185.4. It has a width of 72.4, a height of 56.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.5 inches. Before we move on to the exterior styling, this is actually the first model year Lexus has offered the F Sport for the 300. You can also get the Sport design trim level that skips any mechanical upgrades and just gives you all of the appearance enhancements. So it's really cool that Lexus has now brought that to this 300 model. And with the exterior styling, honestly, it doesn't look any different from a 350. So it's very hard to tell between both of these models. But as we move on to the exterior styling, this model has the gloss black grille along with the gloss black for the entire surround. The Lexus badge is also the forward sensor. There's parking sensors located throughout the front too, and then plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling. Now this has a really nice set of LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with that iconic strip for the DRL going all the way to the point of that hourglass design. There's also more gloss black in the inlets down below. And then the lines from the hood extend from the windshield all the way to the points on that hourglass design. I think it gives it a really nice look. And with the F Sport package, this gets a very nice set of 19-inch wheels along with that multi-spoke design. There's an F Sport badge just behind that. And then of course this has the F Sport tuned suspension as well. Now for the power folding side mirrors, they have a 3-color design to them along with the integrated turn signal. There's a sunroof up top for this model. And then some more of that brushed or black chrome surrounding all of the window trim, which matches the wheels very nicely. There's also some distinctive lines in the lower section of the side there. And then as we work our way to the rear, this has a very neat trunk mounted spoiler finished off in gloss black. And then with the taillights, there's also the LED bar that runs right through the trunk. Backup cameras located in the middle too. There's all the parking sensors, and then the dual exhaust, which is a part of the F Sport package, and more gloss black for that entire lower diffuser. Now you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to gain access to the cargo space. And this is a very practical family sedan. There's a lot of space in the back. There's even a spare tire located under the floor. You could use that for additional storage if you need to. And it actually extends on both sides. So if you have some longer items like golf clubs or something, you could actually put those sideways, and you can't even fold down the back seats. There is a little bit of a step up, but you can still place in some longer items just depending on what you have for the day. There's one grab handle up top. It's a very light trunk, so that makes it easy to close. And as we work our way to the back seats now, door panel has a great design to it with all the leather and stitching. There's a speaker down below. No cubby or storage in the lower section though. There's the window and the release there. And then for the interior, black leather seats with more of that stitching. And at 5'10", it's pretty easy to get into the back. There are storage pockets behind both front seats, 2 air vents in the middle, a little bit of a hump there for your middle passenger. But at my height, I have maybe a ½ inch or so above my head. A little bit tight, but I could fit fine and ride around and be comfortable. Right in the middle, there's the armrest, and then the cup holders extend out of the end of that. And this is a look at visibility for your backseat passengers. Pretty open feeling. It is on the smaller side, but it's not all that bad for this sedan. And then up front, door panel is just like the rear. However, there is storage in the lower section. There's all the window adjustments, side mirror controls. And a part of the F Sport package is the illuminating F Sport badge down on the door sill. I wish it was on the back as well, but it's for your front passengers. And then there's the automatic seats. Now, as we move on to the F Sport steering wheel, it's finished off in solid and perforated leather, Cruise control stock is on that right side. On the left side, there's volume and tuning along with mode. You have Bluetooth and voice commands. This also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. And then there's lane keeping assist, your distance pacing, and the rest of these are for the gauge cluster. But let's fire this up and take a listen to this 300 F Sport. And coming back to the gauge cluster, as you can tell right now, fuel is on the right side, tack is front and center, along with miles per hour and the gear that you were in. And on the far left side, there's engine temperature. Now using those dials, if I just scroll down, there's a lot that we can go through. There's even a column screen there, and then you can pull up various information. You can also push on the pages button and shift the entire tack to the right. So now you have a lot more information that you can scroll through on that left side. There's some similar information that you saw within the gauge cluster, but now we have the added ability of pulling up your music, going into your cruise and lane keeping assist, look at any messages, and then you have a lot of standard safety features that you can go through and configure. And then when you're ready, just push that back to the middle and you can hide away all of that information. And then over on the left side, there's the odometer and some dimmer switches. There's also the automatic headlights, as well as your trunk release all the way down at the bottom. There's one air vent, and then there's leather covering the top of the gauge cluster cover. And for the infotainment system right in the middle, we do have a touchscreen system. And then on the home screen here, you can see it's split where you can have your phone or navigation over on that one side. You can also use the controls down below. So there's home, menu, along with this trackpad and the control in the back. So if I push on menu, we can get into your audio, phone, apps. Projection is how you can pair your phone to the system. There's also the climate adjustments that you can get into as well. And then if I push on home, we are back to this setting here. Not a whole lot of information, but you can also use this pad to further go through all of this as needed, but it gives you everything that you need to drive this every day. Now there's a clock underneath that, along with an air vent. There's the dials on both sides for your temperature, so you can easily adjust that for driver and passenger, and then you have the rest of the controls underneath that. There is a CD player. I've seen a lot of comments that this can play DVDs as well. I'm not sure if that is accurate or not, but you do have the CD player with those controls underneath, power and volume and tuning on both sides. This does also have heated and ventilated seats along with the heated steering wheel. So those controls are nicely laid out. And then on this right side, you can go through the different driving modes. So by twisting on that, you will notice the tack change. There's Eco, Sport, and then a normal setting too. There's a snow mode along with traction control, auto hold, and then putting this into reverse, this is the backup camera. There's also two different angles along with the guidelines that you can configure and adjust. And then there's drive and the manual setting. So you can shift using this or the paddle shifters like I mentioned earlier. Two cup holders are in the middle, and then you have some auxiliaries in the center armrest along with a lot of space. And then moving on to the glove box, there's also a lot of space for all of those items. Now there's garage door buttons just underneath the rear view mirror, and then we have the controls for the sunroof as well as the touch sensitive dome lights. Now that sunshade is manual adjusting, and then this is a look at visibility from the driver's seat. With the pillars in the back being not too bulky, you can easily see over both sides. As we set off now behind the wheel for this 300 F Sport, what I didn't mention in the beginning of the video is that you can also opt to get this in all-wheel drive. Now, if you go with all-wheel drive, that actually puts in a different engine. So instead of having the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, you get the 3.5-liter V6 just like in the 350 F Sport. Now it is detuned, so it doesn't have quite as much horsepower as in the 350, but it's pretty cool to see that you can almost get like a baby 350 if you go with the 300 with all-wheel drive. Or you can get the 4-cylinder here, and with it in sport mode and in the manual setting, let's give it some gas here. And it's what you'd expect for the 4-cylinder. This isn't a model that I'll say is too performance oriented. That's why the 350 and the 500 are both available. 500 will give you the V8. So if you want well over 400 horsepower, you can go all the way up to the 500. This is more of a sporty looking, luxury focused sedan. So now that we have the F Sport package, you can get all the same appearances This honestly doesn't look any different from a 350 F Sport. It's very, very hard to tell unless you look at the badges. I haven't seen any exterior differences between the two, maybe a little different compared to the 500, but if you're just looking for that style, you want the exterior styling, you like the wheels, you like the suspension components that are available, and you just want the appearance package, and you're not really interested in the power, you want something that's going to be a little bit more fuel efficient, this is a cool option to go with. The 300 is not new from Lexus in general, just being able to add that F Sport package. I've been able to drive the 350s and the 500s a lot, and I think this is a very nice luxury focused vehicle. So if you want something that isn't really going to be too expensive, we're almost pushing 50 grand with this particular model. That can go slightly lower and it can go a little bit higher, of course, just depending on the options that you go with. But it's really not all that expensive for what it is, and you're getting into not only a luxury brand, but something that is going to be incredibly reliable. This is something that you can daily drive and rack up the miles and not have to worry about anything really going wrong. It's going to be easy to maintain and keep out on the road. And while we're on the road, it's super comfortable and smooth, even with that F Sport tuned suspension. I've driven them so much, I'm used to it. I don't think it's harsh or anything like that, but it definitely gives you some of the handling characteristics that you are looking for or that you want in a vehicle like this, especially coming up to this right-hand turn. It's super solid and planted. So this is something that you can take on some back roads. You don't really have the power with the 4-cylinder, but it's something that you can take on roads like this and not have to worry about it not being able to do a turn like this at speed. And from second gear, here we go. I will say it's not that slow. It definitely will get up out of its own way, but you're really buying this for more of the fuel efficiency and just to have the nice exterior as well as the nice interior that you get with some of the higher trim levels. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the IS300, a vehicle that I'm not in a lot, but I'm in the 350 so much, it basically looks like a 350. I really like how this has been driving. The steering is pretty direct, which is nice. So for not being too much of a performance-oriented trim level, it is still nice that we do have the handling characteristics to make this more of a sporty luxury sedan, kind of at that entry level as well. But we have some nice interior materials for this model. It's pretty simple too. Lexus isn't really known for having an overabundance of technology, but I think it's really nice. That's why a lot of people like these models. This is a driver's car that you just get in and drive. You don't have to worry about setting up 800 different things. You have everything that you need and nothing more. And along with that is the reliability. There's not much here that could go wrong as far as the screen. You know, some other companies that have a lot of screens, a lot of technology, a lot of gimmicks, things like that. If you're just looking for a basic car that you want to drive and know that's going to be reliable, this is what to get. Lexus and Toyota are #1 in reliability, so you're not really going to have any concerns or issues with this. And like I said, with the handling, I like it. It's nice if you're just not looking for extra power. And I don't want to downplay the 4-cylinder in this. It's just for the type of buyer, just depending on what you want. I think the 350 has adequate power, and then the IS500 is definitely something that I would lean towards just with the V8 that you can get in that. But this drives very nice, pretty practical too as far as the sizing goes, trunk space. You're going to get a very nice luxury brand for an affordable price, something that competes with other vehicles that may not be as luxurious, and you still get the fun factor taking some twisties like this. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 Lexus IS300 F Sport. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.